appreciate it. We appreciate you coming so much. We appreciate the players for coming. Thank you so much. Jack and Jamie have been playing every week back to back. Tennyson's just came back from Europe. Since January, they've played week to week to week, back to back on the ATP Tennis Tour. It's an incredible grind. The fact that they would take this week off to come to this event is, is an incredible thing. We really sincerely appreciate it. That they would make this their week vacation off from back-to-back tennis all year. So, Brian was 88 in the world. For those of you that follow the ATP Tennis Tour, to break into the top 100 is an amazing thing. It wasn't 100 years ago, but in 2004, I think, Brian and Dan christened our backyard court. Bob Sumption was here. He's old enough to have been there. Some of you were here. My brother Brant, thanks for coming. Well, he and Dan played on the tour together. And where's Dan? Dan Battistone. He's right over there. Dan really, he's the most amazing. He was the assistant coach at Brigham Young University. That's where Nelson linked up with him, started playing with the two-handled racket. Nelson was the first college player. Nelson, raise your hand. Nelson was the first player to ever play Division I college tennis with the two-handled racket. He loved to play with it. His coach didn't want him. He couldn't coach him and told him that he couldn't coach him if he didn't play with a single-handled racket. So he left and played at another college, Mesa College. We're really grateful to Dan for getting us started with two-handled racket, Dan and Brian. So Jack and Jamie Vance live and train in Florida. They have some pretty high-powered friends. Brian Battistone's been awesome to set us up with Tommy Paul. Those of you that are seeing how well Tommy Paul is quarterfinal of the Wimbledon this year. Tennyson got to play him. These guys play him. Riley Opelka, some really top name players. Been able to we've been privileged to train and play with them because of Dan and Brian's connection. Brian Battistone lives, sleeps, eats, and drinks tennis. And we're so grateful that you were able to come today, Brian.
Thank you, Bob.
While they're warming up, are there any questions that you have about the ATP Tennis Tour? What it's like to be on the professional tour? Those of you that are still believe that you can make playing professional tennis. Scott Taylor, I know you're still thinking of it. What questions do you have for us?
Is it a grind, boys, to be on the ATP Tour?
That's easy.
Well, what it is, it's an incredibly fun thing if you love tennis. But it's you play for the doubles. These guys are doubles specialists. Tennyson will play singles occasionally. His mom's not as happy when he plays singles because the singles plays on Sunday, and she likes him to play on any other day but Sunday. So on the tour on Saturday, we find out Saturday where we're playing. If we're playing in Romania the next week, or if we're playing in Paris. We may be in Italy at the time, and then we find out Saturday night where we're playing, and we fly there. Sometimes we get a chance to make it to church. Tennyson's really good at finding the church on Sunday. The doubles always starts on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then they play through that week. And then at the end of that week, we find out where the next tournaments are. We're always trying to play in the higher events. Tennyson got to play in an ATP 500 tournament in the European Open with Jack Vance. We lost 10-7 in the third set tiebreak, but that was a great opportunity. Jack and Jamie have played in 3 ATP 250 events. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's 3. Once at Del Rey. Was it Czechoslovakia that you guys played?
we'll take it. Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, okay. And of course, Brian Battistone, if you've ever seen him serve, when I first met him, his dad said, come watch Brian play. He's like a one-man circus. And it's pretty awesome, his service. He's played in the U.S. Open, coached several players that have played in the U.S. Open, and we're very privileged that he's been coaching with these three guys, coaching with Tennyson for the last 4 years in Delray, Florida. So